Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're looking to get funded, we've got a solution for you. Our partnered prop firm FX2 Funding helps traders get access to up to $200,000 in trading capital. FX2 Funding is not your average prop firm. We've chosen them as our partner because of their fair examination rules, their professional and available customer service, and they have an outstanding reputation in the prop firm space. Here's a quick look at their evaluation process. First, they don't have a time limit on their evaluations. That means that you can take your time when passing your evaluation. There's no pressure to rush your trading. Second, there is only one phase to pass in their evaluation before getting access to your funded account. Also, their evaluation fees are fairly priced and fully refundable upon passing. Once you're funded, you'll be able to keep up to 85% of your trading profits. Finally, a rule we know swing traders will love: you can hold your positions over the weekend. For a limited time, get 15% off any of their account challenges with promo code A1Trading15. That's 15% off any account challenge with code A1Trading15. If you're ready to get funded, we're dropping a link in the chat right now, and you can also find it in the description down below. So go ahead and get signed up today for 15% off with promo code A1Trading15. Now, back to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another live show here. Setting up for the week ahead. It is Monday and it's a busy week at that. To help me with this, of course, we've got James, the reporter, in the office. Hey James, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good, and you are right about that, Nick. We have a very, very busy week this week. Starting off with today, we have absolutely nothing noteworthy, but don't worry because that does not last long. Moving right into tomorrow, we have a few interesting things here, starting off with the Australian dollar. Their designate governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia, Michelle Bullock, is going to be speaking, but that'll be very, very early in the morning for us over here on the East Coast of the United States at 3:40 a.m., so we will be asleep. But at 9 a.m., we do have something interesting here in regards to the housing market. We actually have the Standards & Poor's Case-Shiller House Price Index. So if you don't know what that is, like I didn't know what that was when we looked into it this morning, we can look at why traders care. It says it's a leading indicator of the housing industry's health because rising house prices attracts investors and spurs industry activity. So rising house prices, good for investors, but not so good for the consumers who are trying to get better prices on houses. So that'll be an interesting thing to take a look into. But that's not all. We also have these two other U.S. News folders happening here. We have CB consumer confidence as well as JOLTS job openings. And when any time that we get JOLTS jobs openings at the beginning of the week, you know that NFP is coming later. Rounding out Tuesday, we also have CPI in Australia, and moving into Wednesday, we have German preliminary CPI and Spanish flash CPI coming out of the Euro area. We also have, there it is again, ADP non-farm employment change, because again, we will have NFP at the end of the week, as well as preliminary GDP quarter over quarter. So moving into Thursday, we also have more U.S. news. This is a very, very busy news week for the U.S. dollar. It is going to be bouncing all over the place with all this stuff happening. So at 8:30 a.m., we have core PCE price index month over month, as well as unemployment claims like we do every Thursday. And finally, Friday, the big one, we do have Swiss CPI month over month happening early in the morning. But what we are all very, very interested to see, the non-farm employment change here in the U.S., where we will get a new unemployment rate, currently forecasted to remain unchanged at 3.5%. But if that does hit or miss in either direction, then that will be a big, big market mover for sure. Happening at that same time, we do have Canadian GDP month over month as well. And later on that day, we also have ISM manufacturing PMI. So a absolutely packed news week for the US dollar, with a lot of other big news events happening for other currencies sprinkled in there as well.
Yep, it's a huge week. So thank you, James, for that. Again, we will be on for all of these major news events and covering it as we are kind of preparing here on Monday. We'll have plenty more shows to follow going into each of these events. James, thank you very much for the update, and we will see you back on the next one.
Yep, thank you.
All right, guys, getting into things now here, charts wise. How do we prepare for this week? A lot of USD news, a lot of we have some news out of Europe. It should be a very, very intriguing week for the markets. And I'll tell you how I'm starting out in it. I am currently long and still long NASDAQ from last week, and I'll show you guys where I'm at with this trade. Let's pull it up. You can see the P&L. We are currently up about just under $2,000 on the Qs here this morning, which is just the NASDAQ. I'm long essentially NAS100. And on the day, we've got a nice pop to start out the week. A little bit of optimism. There was some, of course, the Fed on Friday. There was some interesting commentary, a little bit of hawkishness, a little bit of dovishness, a little bit of mixed, right? Well, the market freaked out at first and now has driven higher, I guess, here on the NASDAQ. So I'm really, really glad that this trade has played out. You can see it came very, very close to stopping me out. I had probably the cleanest stop loss dodge I've ever had with this NASDAQ move. Price came down and just barely missed my stop. But fortunately, it was in a pretty good spot because price did reverse before hitting it and is now nicely in profit. So that trade alert was shared last week. Actually, when did I take that trade? That trade was shared 8/25. So that was August 25th, which was Friday. So yeah, we picked it up Friday and it has just rebounded very nicely. And the trade is nicely in profit at this point. If you guys are inside of the Discord group, then congrats. You might have caught some of this NASDAQ move with me. This one single move is killing it today. So love to see that. And hey, we saw a couple of people in the chat. I want to just say hello to everybody in the chat. We saw Vanessa, we saw Cliff, we saw 75% Copper. What's up, Abdi in the chat? Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate our viewers, and we're glad that you've stopped in today for the show. We'll be taking a look at some charts here, some setups, of course, like I said, starting out with what I'm currently in. Goal here for me on the NASDAQ is probably to go ahead and move stops. I'd like to actually lock in some profit on this move, see if we can catch a little bit more. Now, again, target-wise, I think we have a pretty good chance of seeing the NASDAQ make a move back up to the previous highs. Right around 15,400 is really where I'm kind of, well, a little bit less than that, 15,370, let's call it. Just up into this resistance zone that you can see here. I'm not necessarily putting a take profit order on my trade because I do like to trail stop. So what I'd ultimately be looking for is, you know, higher lows, higher highs, and potentially a breakout, right? I'm going to look to try and trade this NASDAQ long this week and see if I can stay in the trade. That is the goal. That is what we will be looking out for here on the NASDAQ. So let's take a look now. We'll take a look at the top signals page. Change the name on this one to top signals, as now this page essentially is our output page. We get to see all of the different biases that we have on different currency pairs, commodities, indices, etc. And right now, let's take a quick look at where we are getting the most strong signals. So we've got things like the Australian dollar on a sell side, NZD USD, pound USD, euro USD. If you've been long these, you know it's been a tough time. These things have been trending very well to the downside, and we've been very bearish on these things with short-term dollar strength. Still kind of the narrative that I've had on my channel here the last few weeks. I've been predominantly long biased on the US dollar. So again, output is showing us euro shorts, pound shorts, Kiwi shorts, and Australian dollar shorts. Let's go have a look and see how those things are performing. So Euro USD, real clean downward trend here. Pulling up the hourly chart for us here this morning, you can see essentially we drew our trend line here along the top, and you can see a nice start to the week for euro dollar shorts. And in fact, if you're getting down into the lower time frames here, 30-minute chart, 15-minute chart, question will be, can we break out? If you're watching this with me, guys, euro USD looks primed for possibly a continuation move. We've rejected very nicely off of this trend line a couple different times. What I'd say is watch out for this guy. Watch out for a breakout retest, continuation move opportunity on the euro dollar currency pair. Again, the bias here is to the downside, according to the EDGEFINDER, which you can see, again, it's getting very bearish readings for several dollar crosses. So again, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, pound dollar, euro dollar. Had you taken the initial signal from the EDGEFINDER, which has been very bearish for several days, you would have been short biased all the way down here, which has been really nice for that. In fact, let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look. Here is the Euro USD. Let's go to the euro dollar. We're going to pull this up and I'm going to show you this. The EDGEFINDER has been pointing towards bearish signals since early August, and it's stayed bearish up until now. So if you've caught the euro dollar move using the EDGEFINDER, then that's awesome. Early August, just to give you some context, the EDGEFINDER was basically saying short over here, and we've seen a beautiful downward trend coming out of that. Again, the yellow line is the price of the euro. And of course, the bars are the signals generated by the EDGEFINDER. We had a slight positive one, and then we started going bearish early August, which has been a beautiful signal to the downside. Speaking of the EDGEFINDER, if you've been watching the show for a while, we've got a couple things we're going to do here. We're going to be taking a look at the commitment of traders data to get an idea of what hedge funds and smart money is up to. What are they buying? What are they shorting? What are they selling, etc. We'll be taking a look at that in just a moment. I do also want to say that right now we are actually doing our biggest sale that we've done in months here. We are doing 35% off of the EDGEFINDER. And if you'd like access to our software, the best way to grab yourself a copy while this sale happening is message us. We've got a link in the chat right now. If you click this link, it's going to take you to a direct message center where you can ask our team for more information on the discount that we're offering currently for the EDGEFINDER. Click this link. It will take you to a place where you'll have a direct message conversation with someone on my staff. So if you click this link, I'll just show you what it looks like. Again, I should have updated this. We haven't updated this, but just click here. It's actually, it says 15% off, but if you message us here during the stream, you're going to get 35% off. So again, click the link in the chat, 35% off the EDGEFINDER this week. If you message us while the stream is happening, don't miss your chance. Again, the copy is significantly discounted. It is the tool that we use so regularly on the stream. Speaking of that, we're going to bring in Frank here for a moment. We're going to do our COT data report that we do every Monday. So we'll say hello to Frank and see what he has to say. Hey, Frank, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. And again, I just mentioned we're taking a look at the COT data. I thought one thing that I will say about the COT data that stuck out to me was have a look at gold. Take a look and we can see gold yet again, guys. Again, let's look at the chart, right? Just context. Gold has been in kind of a little upward channel recently, but the longer term, the daily chart has been really bearish. Well, I pulled up the gold on the EDGEFINDER here, Frank, and what I saw is that while there's still a heavy bias to the long side on gold in terms of number of contracts long versus number of contracts short, what I find really interesting is that as of the most recent filing that we just got on Friday, we had another decrease in longs. So they're closing long positions. And when I say they, I'm talking about hedge funds and asset manager groups that have to report to the CFTC. Huge decrease in longs and a huge increase in shorts. So again, yes, there's still a bias overall to the upside in terms of positioning. There's still net more long. This has been changing for a while, hasn't it, Frank? I mean, gold, what do you think about this? I thought this one just stuck out to me.
Yeah, so if you scroll down to the positional bias,
Yes.
and you can pull up gold on that too. And okay, we'll do my screen. And if you pull up gold, you'll see, so the net long positions overall for the past 3-4 weeks have been coming down quite a bit. So usually this is a sign that sentiment is flipping. I mean, it can come back up again, like in the weeks to come, but this pattern overall is that it's just falling, and so is price. And even if you were to pull up gold on the 1 day or 4 hour, it still doesn't look strong. It had a breakout, but like overall, I think gold is going to be pretty weak. And again, watching the 2-year yield, still at above 5%, I believe, but just a lot of things going against it right now. So I think it's justified that smart money is not looking to go long or bullish on this asset for a while, and I'll probably be looking for shorts this week.
Yeah, I tend to agree, Frank, and I'll show you my chart here. In terms of what we've been seeing price action wise, there's been this kind of higher low series going on recently. This is the 4-hour chart on the gold, a little bit lower time frame than, of course, like the daily chart, which we're kind of looking at a little bit context wise. The thing is for me with gold is if this thing cracks, right? If this thing breaks through this level, this would be a really, really interesting short idea for me. Kind of if the short-term uptrend that we've been seeing, if that gives way to the longer-term downtrend, right? Here's the daily chart. We've been in this downward trend. We're seeing a little bit of a revival move for gold. If we start to see that crack and start to break lower, I think you may see price head back down to 1885 to test that level once more. And if that level breaks, again, you've got lots of room down to like that 1810 level, which I think we've talked about in the past. So you also mentioned, Frank, you've got the 2-year. Do you want to pull that up for us just to show us what you're talking about? And tell us also why I guess that matters so much to gold's price.
Yeah, hold on one sec. So the 2-year yield is short-term interest rates, like just forward looking what they'll be like in 2 years, basically. But what it does is it's directly correlated with the dollar and indirectly with gold, I guess. So in a negative way, it's correlated with gold, but seeing this rise is like, I guess you could call it just like instant strength in the dollar. So every time you see it rise, we've been seeing it rise the past couple weeks now pretty steeply, and the dollar has taken off as well. So those dollar pairs are going up. We've seen stocks kind of struggle. There are a lot of other factors in the stock market, but watching this rise has been pretty impactful to the stock market, dollar, gold. So every time we see this rise, or I would say even above 5%, I think this was a very restrictive level. And the fact that it's above it now is pretty concerning to gold in the short term, at least. Stocks, that's a different story. But I think watching it stay above these levels for a long time is going to be kind of impactful on gold's price. So
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And again, it's one of those things too. There's a little bit of an opportunity cost effect when we talk about, the gold market, right? When you talk about gold, sometimes people don't understand this, or they're not, fully aware of the fact that gold and bonds, they have competition between each other. The question is, let's say that you're somebody who is parking money. You're a hedge fund manager and you manage, $5 billion and you need to put money away for your clients. Do you want to put it in gold or do you want to put it in bonds? Well, some people might say, oh, gold, and other people might say, oh, bonds. But if the yield rises on bonds and makes it more attractive, comparatively speaking, to gold, that's also a negative thing to gold because the opportunity cost of buying gold is not it would be better just to be in bonds, right? So that's kind of a little bit of the play I think that also might be occurring. You have the opportunity cost, the yield rising, causing dollar strength, which quotes gold weaker. And then, of course, it also has to do with bonds. So yeah, Frank, before we move on, I wanted to ask, is there anything else on the COT report that stuck out to you this week?
yeah, so I wanted to talk about the indices. From smart money standpoint, they look pretty bearish. The NAS might be the only exception, but it doesn't look.
Which I'm glad to hear because I'm long on that one, Frank. Speak carefully to me.
I also feel like maybe a long could work out, so I'm considering that too, and that's not because of smart money, but because of where these indices are right now. If you pull up the US 30 or the SPX or the NAS on a 1-day chart, they all came down to this really significant level of support, and they have not been able to break under. So it keeps suggesting, especially on the NAS twice in a row, that buyers are stepping in every time it hits this level. And yeah, I don't know. Is the worst over? We've had Jackson Hole come out with, I mean, Powell saying basically the same thing. Everyone took it as high hawkishness or whatever. But
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like it might be worth trying out. If it breaks under, you're pretty close to the trend line anyways, so your stops don't have to be super wide. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I think so. I think the NAS is interesting. You saw a decrease in shorts, so that was definitely an interesting component there. Frank, I don't want to rush it, but we've got Ivan waiting patiently. He's being so polite, waiting for us to bring his magical commentary in. So in just a moment, we're going to bring in Ivan. Frank, thank you for your commentary on the COT reports here this week, and I'm sure we'll hear more from you this week as we have tons of news data coming soon.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. See ya. Also, guys, as we just went through the COT reports, let me also remind you, we do have, like I said earlier, our 35% off discount sale, which is going on if and only if you message us on our website. There's a link in the chat right now. If you click this link right here, it will take you to a place where you can have a direct message with our team. And again, this gets you access to our COT reports, the top signals, the forex scanner, the gold scanner, index scanner, the retail sentiment, seasonal data, all sorts of powerful indicators that our team has worked exceptionally hard to build for the trading community. If you have not already gotten yourself a copy, now's your chance to do so for 35% off. All you have to do is, again, click the link, direct message us, and ask us about the sale. And we'll tell you anything you want to know. If you want to set up a call with us, if you want to know more information about the tool, if you'd like to ask a few questions, or if you'd like to just take advantage of 35% off and you've been watching the videos for a while, you've been on the sidelines with it, and I encourage you to check it out just by messaging us. It's free to have a conversation with us and ask more details. With that said, guys, we're going to go to Ivan here in just a moment to talk more trading setups as we go into a very important trading week here. So we'll go to Ivan in just a second, right after we show a little bit of a thank you to our sponsors who make this show possible financially. So check this out. We are going to go to 8cap, which is our sponsored broker, for a quick message, and then we'll be right back with Ivan with some trade setups. Be right back.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the Edge Finder or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, guys, and here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ivan. How's it going, man?
It's going all right.
Good to have you back on the show, man. And if you guys don't know Ivan, then where have you been? Ivan's been with us for a long time here now. We've been doing commentary together each week. He also does our coaching webinars within the group. He's one of our senior analysts here on the team, and it's good to have him back on the show. Ivan, what is going on? What are you watching here in the markets today? As James pointed out for us at the beginning of the show, it's a news-heavy week. What are you looking at closely? Still yen pairs?
Absolutely. Why not? Well, it is Aussie yen, Euro yen, CAD yen, New Zealand yen, pound yen, whatever yen that goes up. I'll probably buy it, and sure do. And I'm just waiting for things, to go higher. Just waiting for things to, mature a bit.
So, Ivan, to go back to Aussie yen for a second, are you long twice?
Yeah. I'm trying to build position here, but it has fallen down, has punched me a couple of times in the face. But I'm like, dude, it still hasn't made a brand new lower low. My line in the sand across all pairs doesn't go below around 17th of August. If it goes below that low, then I'm kind of out. So it hasn't. I'm still trying to build.
Okay. So you've got two trades on here. Walk us through this. So the first trade, I can see you kind of had a nice push, breakout there, a little bit of retest action. What got you into each one of these trades? Just give us the rundown.
Okay. So I believe that the bottom should be around 17th of August, 20th of August every year on the yen pairs. Now there's seasonality. Now seasonality is basically what happens every year. Kind of tends to happen every year in the future. Now, so for me, I'm expecting yen pairs to rise until September, until mid-September, give or take. And I've done this for the past, how many years now? 5, 6, I don't know, years it is now. And it was pretty profitable last year, 60%. So to me, I'm like, where can I get the entry? Because I am projecting it should go higher, and I don't have the confirmation yet. And then it goes range, and I'm like, what's going on? So it's a patience game. So the story behind it is that the Bank of Japan still has their monetary policy in place. CPI is still in place. They are still below their 2% goal over the long term. So, yeah.
There you go. Well, yep. So we talk about this often. For people who are just tuning into the stream, of course, we've got new people on the show every week. Ivan and I, we discuss a lot of things like seasonality, right? Like these concepts of typical patterns that have occurred over time in the markets. For whatever reason, it really doesn't matter, but there are usually some reasons. But the point is, Ivan and I have been discussing the fact that kind of in terms of yen weakness, seasonally, it generally is weaker during this time of the year. And so if you know that, it can actually be a great way to spot opportunities. So what other yen pairs, Ivan, are you talking about? And while you do that, I'm going to pull up some seasonal data just to showcase to people.
Okay, I just want to say, though, on Friday, in the VIP group, we said 94.10 should be a place to look for a buy, if whatever reasons you have to enter, if it makes a new higher high. So this morning, it made a new higher high, probably evening for you, and then it came back down to London. So if you guys didn't do your job, that's kind of up to you. But there is no trading signals here whatsoever. Anyways, New Zealand yen is another one that I have tried to have an entry on. It's kind of coming back to break even yet on a millionth time. British pound, Japanese yen. It needs to break 184.60, come back to support. So I'm just waiting for this one to come back, and it should at least go higher. Now, this is aggressive by any chance, by any means. This isn't advisable if you haven't done the back testing, if you don't know that this situation does work for you statistically, you shouldn't be in this by any means, by any far. Don't follow me. People have done that. I'm like, please don't. Sure. This is not a game.
Yeah, right. No, and I wanted to follow up with you on top of this concept. Again, you've been very focused, and I want to point this out to the audience as well. If you guys watch the shows every day, if you're the type of person who shows up to these streams every single day, and you know that Mondays are Ivan's days to come on and hang out with us for a little bit, then you've heard us talk about this over and over. Ivan is very, very focused on a specific thing. I mean, when you came on, I was like, you still doing yen pairs? Because I know, Ivan and everybody who comes on our show, specialization is very important. So I wanted to just point out a little bit of what Ivan was talking about with the yen pairs. Take a look at euro yen, for example. We can see that September, which we are knocking on the door of September, it is a couple days from here, we see historically a expectation to go higher for the euro Japanese yen. We can also take a look at, let's go to USD/JPY, another one here. Look at this, strong seasonal expectations here for the dollar yen, at least in the last 10 years of recorded data. We can see there's typically a nice little resurgence in the dollar yen. So perhaps that's something that you as a trader could take advantage of. So I wanted to point that out just visually with what Ivan is saying. He's got some trades. He's looking to build positions on winners. I really like that approach. So outside of that, do you have any thoughts on dollar yen, Ivan? Of course, this week is really big with we have NFP at the end of the week, which the markets will pay close attention to. Are you staying away from dollar yen? Do you like other ones better?
I do only yen, okay? And then USD kind of goes in there, but I kind of don't like it because if you go back to when we're clear risk on, which is kind of what I'm trying to trade here, is that you use yen trades like 5%. In the same time frame, Aussie yen do like 20, 30, 40%. So it's dramatically different. But the thing is, the reason why I need to watch it because Bank of Japan watches it. And a year ago, they intervened in the market around 150. 1, 2. So I need to be, if you go too fast to 152, I will be shaking in my pants. I'll probably run away because that might need to have another intervention because last year it went too fast, too quickly, and we are going up to the same price again. So that's the only that's the only reason why I need to watch USDN.
That's a good point, though, too, because again, the U.S. and Japan, both really major economies, and the central bank, for people who are newer, perhaps they are not familiar with that concept, the Bank of Japan, they watch this currency exchange, as Ivan is pointing out, so importantly because, of course, so much global trade happens between these two currencies, right? So last year, we saw intervention from the Bank of Japan. They were like, we don't like this level. We're going to support our currency, and it's going to go back the other way. So it's almost like, Ivan, is there a good chance that perhaps we see the dollar yen come back to try that level out again? Perhaps there's a trade in the meantime, but the side caveat, the side note is be very careful, because the second the Bank of Japan does step back in for intervention, that's where we see those 300 pip swings very, very quickly. So you got to be very careful with that stuff.
It was 400 pips the first time they tried on some of the pairs. But so the question last year was it was too quickly. Now we go maybe a bit slower. The other thing is they're threatened from February to September until actually did something. So every week they said we're going to intervene, we're going to intervene, we're going to intervene. So the problem is that Japan is the country that has the biggest cash reserve in dollar and bonds. So if dollar strengthens, their yen weakens, and the problem they have is that they are buying, for example, all their oil is import. They don't produce their own, so that becomes incredibly more expensive the more this one goes higher. So and also it's for business, it's not great to have this unstable price movement, even though it's one direction. So I kind of see what it would do, but I'm just don't do it now. Don't do it now. Don't do it now.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah, no, I think the dollar yen it's a crazy currency pair. One of the big pros, of course, with trading the dollar yen is it's very, very the spreads are pretty great compared to, some currency pairs. You get better or worse, but it is one of those majors. And like Ivan just pointed out, they do so much transactions and so much cash reserves on both sides for the dollar and for the yen. So it does create a lot of liquidity there, which could be nice. What about, so you got Swiss yen pulled up. Any ideas on this one?
You know,
I never thought I'd see you talking Swiss yen, Ivan. This is a new one for me. All right.
No, well, I'm not going to trade it because people want to see it, and I'm like, there is a trade. It has already gone. Probably look for trend continuation. This is one of the ones that doesn't perform in my previous years, but this year has been fantastic. But I'm not part of the trend. So should you this year? Totally up to you. This is a part of the yen moves. This also goes in the yen direction. So at least I don't want people to try to fight the trend. Sure. But if you find me buying this, please come and knock me out.
Yeah, that's fair. And one of the difficulties of trading this currency pair is that it's two risk-off currencies, right? The Swiss franc as well as the Japanese yen tend to be global kind of safe haven currencies, so it can sometimes create some choppiness between the two. But this year it seems to be trending a little bit different. So we'll see how that one wants to play out. What about Euro yen here?
Oh, I'm waiting for. Yesterday I made a fantastic trade plan. I'm like, if it comes down to 157.85, I'll buy it. If it comes down to 157.65, I'll buy it. It never came down.
It left you behind. Yeah. Those are tough.
Well, that's a new concept.
Yeah, I could totally relate on that for sure. Yeah, so I also think that this week will be really impactful too, Ivan. What do you think about a lot of USD news outside of the yen? Are you trading any dollar pairs this week, or are you kind of avoiding them?
I'm 100% avoiding dollar pairs. We have quite strong dollar at the moment. I'm kind of wary about are we going to bear soon because we've been a bit overstretched. NFP can provide that, but it's only when people are fed up. If you check out the CME, people have been starting to price in even more rate hikes than before. going on for maybe another rate hike in December. For me, that then of course leads to dollar bullishness. So I try to stay away because to me it's a bit clouded. It's not very direct, very straightforward.
Sure.
So, and also it's it's already bearish. So unless I sell the resistance.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is sometimes the best trades are the ones that are just the most obvious in the room and being patient on them. You know, the yen one makes sense to me as well. You know, generally speaking, the world is in a little bit more of a risk on state than it was perhaps a year ago. You also have seasonality, as we've discussed here. So, you know, it's an interesting time to be a yen bear and bull on the counters to the yen. So will be very interesting to see from there. So Ivan, you've got so you're watching yen pairs, and also let me just take a second here. Let me ask you a question on behalf of the audience. What does the average A1 trading Discord coaching webinar look like? People ask all the time, you know, what does the webinar offer? Give us just an idea of that.
If Adrian is here, he would call me the fire truck. It's a lot of it's how it looks like. It's pretty brutal. I don't know, probably scared away half of the audience, but it's pretty brutal. I go through trading plans. I go through what people are thinking, what people are trying to plan. We go through fundamentals. We go through psychology. We talk about, you know, how can you become the best trader you've ever been through very many ways. And sometimes I get a bit annoyed, and sometimes I get a bit frustrated. So yeah. People it's really growing.
Just the no nonsense version of Ivan. You're going to get in there. You're going to ask questions, and he's going to. Yeah, exactly. We stay nice and polished here on YouTube, but if you want the real thing, I will say Ivan is being modest. They're incredibly helpful. If you listen through any of his webinars, if you join them, it's the real stuff. We go in depth on building trading strategies, common mistakes, trading psychology that can lead you broke. You know, we're trying to hash things out constantly inside of the group. So I just wanted to leave that plug. If you guys are interested in getting coaching webinars or joining into the coaching webinars with Ivan, they're a small group setting. You can use the link in the descriptions or in the chat right now if you'd like to join the Discord to do that. He also does one-on-one coaching. So if that's something you're interested in, if you'd like just special attention and to work closer with Ivan, if he's, you know, if he hasn't scared you off yet, consider reaching out to Ivan, and we're going to drop his link to his YouTube channel here where you can find his contacts and his stuff as well. Ivan, thank you for coming on the show as always. And again, everybody, make sure to go subscribe to Ivan. Ivan, we'll see you back on later, maybe later this week, maybe next week. Just depends with if we can get you back on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. See ya. Yeah, guys, definitely. You know, Ivan is one of those guys. If you want no nonsense, he's from Norway, and the Norwegians, they have a way of just being straightforward, and I actually really appreciate it. So again, make sure if you have not already, if you're inside of the VIP group, make sure to join some of his coaching webinars. They are phenomenal. They're very, very quality stuff. With that said, guys, I did mention this earlier, but last call on this, we're doing 35% off of the EDGEFINDER this week. We're doing a huge sale right now off of the software. We just added a ton of new features. We added things like the top signals page. Well, we refined it a little bit. We added the forex scanner, which now allows you to select any currency pair you want and get a bias on it. So for example, EURUSD, we're getting a very bearish reading. We have the score breakdowns, target ideas. We have projections for the euro. We have all the different economic figures. Right here's the COT data on the euro against the dollar, retail sentiment, economic figures, and again, of course, our output on the EDGEFINDER. So if you would like access to all of the great new features that we just added to the EDGEFINDER here, again, we're celebrating all the new features with a massive 35% off sale. All you have to do to get access to it is direct message us using the link in the chat right now. If you message us while we're live here, you'll get 35% off the tool. And if you're watching this back at a later time, it should also be linked in the description as well for you to message us directly and get in on the sale before it does end. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and hope to see some of you guys on the next stream. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button and thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time.
And that concludes today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to keep you up to date with the latest market coverage through our daily videos and articles. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe for more. You can get funded today up to $200K with FX2 funding. Use our code A1Trading15 for a special discount. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.